Let me allow Ms. Georgina Dakpukpo, who is the national chairman of the YDP. She's in our Abuja studio. Thank you. It's a pleasure having you on the program, madam. And let's get your reaction to, I've listened and I've heard, spoken to some of your colleagues, political parties that are deregistered. And the agitation is that the Supreme Court judgment does not reflect the deregistration of the 74 political parties. Reacts to what Mr. Dazang has said as relating to this.
Thank you very much, Sean, for having me on your show on politics today. Prior to the action of INEC in February to register political parties, we were already in court before INEC went ahead to register political parties. We were at the Federal High Court, and we were, among other things, seeking an interpretation of the Section 225 of the Constitution. But INEC went ahead and registered the political parties, and subsequently the Federal High Court ruled that INEC was well within its right to have carried out the action. So we went on appeal to the Court of Appeal, and in August, I believe, the President of the Court of Appeal, in a 5-man panel, ruled that INEC did not follow due process in directing those political parties. Because of the 50 or so that went to court initially at the Federal High Court, only about 22 went on appeal to the Court of Appeal. And that was the decision then. And then INEC went on an appeal to the Supreme Court. And that case is still pending. So when I hear INEC coming out through its publicity commissioner to say that the decision of the Supreme Court is final, I'm puzzled, because there is a substantive case appeal before the Supreme Court. Aside from that, the NUP case that was ruled on a couple of days ago is thoroughly different from the case that we have before the Supreme Court. In fact, the Court of Appeal did mention that the NUP case, that INEC was well within its right to have taken that action, but they did not uphold the right of, they upheld the right of INEC to register political parties, but I did not follow the due process. Like the
apologies. I like just a moment, please, so that our viewers get a sense and understand what you're talking about. First and foremost, you agree tonight that the Supreme Court has said INEC has the powers to deregister political parties. Agreed, isn't it? All right.
Yes, I agree.
That's cleared out of the way. But the position you are holding tonight is that your deregistration the process was not followed through. There was no due process in your deregistration. So what exactly is the process that you are protesting about? What is the due process you're talking about?
The section INEC relied upon to carry out this action has several subsections. There are several preconditions that are supposed to be met before INEC can go ahead and register a political party. Like he mentioned that we should win a seat in the election. I'm very much aware that another political party, I think that was COA, won a position, I think a chairmanship position, a councillorship position in Enugu State. And they informed INEC, yet INEC went ahead to register a political party. There are other preconditions that INEC has to meet before they can go ahead and register political parties. They came and did a thorough screening of political parties after the 2019 election. We didn't hear from them. They didn't come to tell us, oh, you did not meet a requirement, so you need to, you are facing the registration or anything. All we heard on the news was that we were deregistered. And there should be a due process. There should be a process for fair hearing. That's what we are saying.
So have you had any encounter with INEC when you got the information? Let's pick your party, because you can speak for your party, even if you cannot speak for the rest of the 50 or so that went to court together. So the NUP, the case is clear, and Supreme Court had definitely declared and finished that matter. But for the case of our 50 of you that are deregistered, and you have your case 22. Still pending in court, 22 rather, that are still in court, have you had a personal conversation with INEC to get a sense of why they're going ahead?
They haven't reached out to us. Sometime, I think about 2 months ago, we approached INEC because we wanted to participate in the, because the judgment we got at the Court of Appeal is a declaratory judgment. It cannot be stayed. So ordinarily, INEC is supposed to have reinstated us as political parties by now. But that being said, we went ahead and went to them and told them we want to participate in a number of elections. We went to a notice of primaries to the INEC office, and we dropped our letters. They collected it from us. They received those letters, only for us to hear on the news that they were not going to act on those letters. They have not reached out to us. We have at least tried to reach out to them to tell them we want to participate in the elections. They have not done anything like that. They never even wrote to us to tell us, oh, you were being deregistered.
Let's allow Mr. Dazang to...
That they were...
Okay, all right. Please, land on that thought, please.
I heard later they were trying to, after we had gone an appeal, and probably they realized they were probably out of order, they tried to get in touch with political parties to try and give them a letter after the fact. But how can you come to me after the fact? What is the essence? Okay. What exactly were they trying to achieve?
Let's allow INEC to react to what you have said. Mr. Dazang, I'm very sure that you can hear the YDP, the national chairman there. What are your reactions to those allegations raised? Apologies. I don't know if Mr. Dazang is still with us. I'd like you to react to what... yeah, please, could you react to what the national chairman, Ms. Apkopo, has said in the allegations that she has raised in relation to what you did to them? Unfortunately, I don't know what's happening with the line there with Mr. Dazang. But let's get our closing thoughts from the YDP national chairman. So what are you going to do now? INEC has taken his decision. You say you're not hearing from INEC. So where do you go from here?
Well, we still continue to function as political parties because by the decision of the Court of Appeal, we are political parties. We continue to operate as political parties pending the final decision by the Court of Appeal on our appeal before them, on INEC's appeal before them. But as of today, we are still very well legally registered political parties in Nigeria.
So this perhaps also, if this word is INEC, that you're not winning any election, no seat, what are you doing to ensure that you do that?
Sure. The Nigerian political landscape is very interesting. I said that a couple of weeks ago on our program on your channel's TV. But before I go into what I was going to say, I just want to say something. There's nowhere in the world where political parties are deregistered because they don't win any election. Political parties are not created to win elections. They are created to represent the interests of a particular group of people. That is the function of a political party.
All right.
First and foremost.
Okay, so...
if we're not winning elections, of course we are striving to win elections because we want to have a seat on the table, to be able to have our voices heard as to what concerns us, as to what we are concerned about. Of course we are striving. But many of those parties that were deregistered were just parties that were registered some 6 months before the election, some a year before the election. YDP, that was our first electoral circle, and we're registered. There is nowhere in the world that is done.
All right.
How can we be able to build up enough support to win an election within an electoral circle?
Unfortunately, we're out of time. Ms. Georgina Dakwopo, National Chairman of the YDP, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you for having me.